This story comes from the real experience of a man known as Mr. Nim, a young soldier who at the time believed he was fearless. He was at an age where mistakes felt harmless, where warnings sounded exaggerated, and where danger was something that only happened to other people. Years have passed since that night, but what he saw and what he allowed into his room never truly left him. Back in 2009, Mr. Nguyen was 21 years old and newly enlisted in the army. He had just begun his military life, still adjusting to discipline, routine, and the strange loneliness that comes with wearing a uniform far from home. That week, he was assigned as a driver for a senior officer traveling on official duty to a southern province of Thailand. The trip lasted several days. During the daytime, everything felt normal. Paperwork, meetings, long drives under a burning sun. But by night, the towns they passed through felt different. Quieter in some places, strangely alive in others. Neon lights flickered along narrow streets. Music leaked from bars, and unfamiliar faces lingered in doorways, watching cars pass as if measuring who belonged and who didn't. At first, accommodation had been arranged properly, but as the days went on, good hotels filled quickly. Budgets tightened. Eventually, Mr. Num was told to split off and find a place to stay on his own. It didn't bother him much. He was young, independent, and confident. A bed was just a bed, after all. Late that night, after hours of driving with fatigue settling into his bones, he wandered deeper into town, looking for something cheap. That's when he noticed the hotel. It stood slightly apart from the others, its exterior darkened by age and neglect. The sign flickered weakly, missing letters, as if even the building itself had grown tired of announcing its name. Around it were bars, pubs, and karaoke shops. The kind of places that never truly sleep, only grow louder as the night goes on. The air around the hotel felt heavy. Not threatening exactly, just uncomfortable. Still, the price made him pause. About $8 a night. Too cheap to ignore. Without thinking too deeply, he parked, stepped inside, and paid for 3 nights. The clerk barely looked at him before handing over the key. He was assigned a room on the top floor. The hallway upstairs was dim, lit by old yellow bulbs that buzzed softly. His footsteps echoed more than they should have. When he unlocked the door and stepped inside, the room greeted him with silence and a faint musty smell that clung to the walls. The furniture was old and worn. A creaky wooden bed, a small wardrobe, a table with scratches etched into its surface by people long gone. What caught his eye most was the ceiling fan. It hung low in the center of the room, large and outdated, its metal frame slightly bent, its blades stained with age. Even turned off, it looked tired, like it had witnessed too much. Still, Mr. Noon shrugged it off. He told himself he was overthinking. He showered, lay down on the bed, and within minutes, exhaustion pulled him into sleep. The first night passed quietly. Too quietly. Until the knocking came. Sharp, deliberate, close. He stirred, confused, his mind still tangled in dreams. The knocking came again. He checked his digital watch. 3:59 a.m. 1 minute before 4. Annoyance outweighed caution. He assumed it was a drunk guest. Maybe someone stumbling back from a bar, knocking on the wrong door. Without pausing to think, he swung the door open, and everything changed. Standing there was a young woman, strikingly beautiful, her pale skin almost glowing under the hallway light. She wore a tight black t-shirt and short denim shorts, her figure confident, her posture relaxed. She smiled at him, not nervously, not boldly, but softly, as if this moment had already been agreed upon. In a gentle, almost playful voice, she asked if he had called for her. He told her he hadn't. He should have closed the door right then. He knew that. But loneliness has a way of blurring judgment, and youth convinces you that consequences are negotiable. Instead of turning her away, he stepped aside and let her in. They talked, easily, naturally. The conversation flowed without effort, as if the night itself had slowed down just for them. Before he realized how much time had passed, they were no longer just talking. When she finally stood to leave, he handed her about $14. She accepted it with a small smile, told him to get some rest, and walked out the door. Moments later, sleep took him again. Morning came quietly. When he woke around 7, the bed beside him was cold. The room felt off, as if something had been removed but left its outline behind. On the dressing table, he noticed the money. The same bill, folded neatly, untouched. Unease crept in. Downstairs, he described the woman to the front desk staff. They listened politely, then shook their heads. No one had come in. No one had gone out. That night, curiosity wrestled with fear. Part of him wanted answers. Part of him wanted to pretend nothing strange had happened. He bought flowers and snacks and waited. Hours passed. Nothing. Eventually, sleep claimed him again. On the third night, the final night, the knocking returned. 3:59 a.m. His heart pounded as he opened the door. She stood there again, unchanged, same smile, same clothes. That's when dread finally seeped into his bones. Still, he let her in. This time, her voice was different, heavy. She spoke of being tricked, of being trapped, of losing pieces of herself, until there was nothing left to protect. The room grew colder as she spoke, the air pressing against his skin. She looked up at the ceiling fan, then back at him. She told him this was the room that haunted her the most, because this was where she died. She dragged the chair beneath the fan. Mr. Nguyen couldn't move, couldn't breathe. She stepped up, raised her hands, looped an invisible rope around her neck, and stepped off. He screamed and reached for her, grasping nothing. The chair fell. A fan swayed. He ran. Later, an old woman selling porridge told him the truth. Her name was Mui. She died there. That room was never meant to be rented. But for 3 nights, it was. For 3 nights, Mr. Nguyen slept beside the dead, crossing paths with a spirit trapped in time, returning again and again, 1 minute before 4 in the morning. If you want more true horror whispered from the darkest corners of Thailand, subscribe to Tale After Dark and let the next story play.